As she began sorting through the recyclables, she noticed a smell coming from one of the burn cans, a mix of plastic, smoke, and something sharp. Inside were ashes, but not just from paper. Among them were half-melted photo frames, a scorched manila folder, and wedged between them, the fragment of a passport photo. "I wasn't supposed to look," she admitted, "but it didn't feel right. Something about it was wrong." That's when the judge leaned forward. The prosecutor raised a copy of the very photo fragment she had reported. It was charred and blurred, but still visible, the half-smiling face of a teenage girl. The jury studied it silently. Diddy closed his eyes and rubbed his temples. This was the beginning of what the prosecution would call the House of Ashes. And the maid, this quiet, overlooked woman, was about to become its most devastating witness. As the courtroom settled, Housekeeper X took a breath, gripped her hands in her lap, and continued. She described how she rarely saw the main events, the celebrity-studded parties that filled Diddy's homes with flashing lights, booming speakers, and endless drinking. But what followed those events was where the real story began. "They called them the after parties," she said. "That's when everyone who was supposed to leave didn't. The lights went dimmer, the security got tighter. Phones were locked away in velvet-lined pouches. And the guests? Different," she whispered. "Not always celebrities. Some looked nervous. Some looked very young." She said her cleaning instructions on those nights always included very specific directions. Do not enter the East Wing bedrooms. Do not clean the downstairs den. Only take trash from the designated zones. But she admitted to violating those rules more than once. Not out of rebellion, but out of fear. She had been warned by a fellow housekeeper once. You don't want to be the one who finds something and says nothing. One night, while cleaning the guest bathroom, she found a blood-stained towel rolled tightly and jammed behind the toilet. She called security. They removed it without a word. Another time, she was assigned to the main hall after a party and noticed strange marks on the hardwood floor, deep scratches that looked like something heavy had been dragged across it. But the worst? The ritual table. She said it was a long wooden dining table covered in melted candle wax, burnt photographs, broken glass, feathers, and, she hesitated, what looked like dried blood. "I wasn't told to clean it," she said, "but I had to walk past it every morning. No one ever touched it. It just sat there for days. One time it was gone completely. The next week, it was back." The judge asked her if she reported this to anyone. She shook her head. "I had signed so many papers. I didn't want to end up like the others who just disappeared." The courtroom was silent again. Not even the defense attorneys interrupted, because the air had changed. The words ritual and disappeared were now in the air, and they wouldn't be leaving anytime soon. What she found in the trash wasn't a one-time occurrence. It became a pattern, a cycle. Every time there was an after event, the same items would reappear like clockwork. Charred paper, torn receipts, half-burned Polaroids, and, disturbingly, more photos of people she didn't recognize. One night, she noticed an envelope with a red stamp that read, "Rejected." She picked it up. Inside were 5 torn-up contracts with blacked-out names and pages that mentioned agreement of participation and full compliance. Each was stained, folded, and smelled like alcohol and smoke. At the very bottom was a $100 bill torn straight down the center. She testified that she brought these fragments home, scared but unable to ignore what she saw. For weeks, she kept them in a small lockbox under her bed. It wasn't until a month later, while at a grocery store, that the full horror clicked into place. On the community board near the front entrance was a missing persons flyer. A teenage girl named Malia, last seen at a yacht party in 2016.